Coming up on tonight's episode of Husky Mag, we talk football, volleyball, soccer, and more.
And hockey season is right around the corner. We'll let you know what to expect from the Huskies this season.
Husky Mag starts now.
Let's take it to the field.
We champions.
Let's take it to the field.
We champions.
I come through like the freight train, about to push the line back. Only see the gold line, don't matter if your line stack. Because I'm a soldier, you can see my face paint. Know that I'ma get mine by knowing that the rest can't. Y'all looking scared, man, better call a timeout. I can see your eyes and reach your mind in the same look. Every play you call, you think we reading out the same book. As the time tick down in the game, I'm a winner, y'all cliches sounding the same. Come on, ready for 'em, let's get it on. We ready for 'em, let's get it on. We ready for 'em, let's get it on.
Back to another edition of Husky Mag. I'm Jancelyn Huff, and alongside me is Joey Erickson.
Great to be here for the first time, Jancelyn. Now let's get to talk about some Husky sports.
Let's.
The Huskies dropped their 5th game of the season Saturday 45-10 against the Mankato Mavericks. Adam Stage got the Huskies on the board first after kicking a 27-yard field goal, but then it was all Mavericks from there. Mankato's quarterback Ryan Schleet threw for 123 yards and a touchdown while completing 13 of his 16 attempts. A bright spot for the St. Cloud State Huskies was senior running back Gregory Lewis, who rushed for 100 yards and a touchdown against the #1 rush defense in the NSIC. And now as we take a look at the standings, the Huskies fell to 4th in the North Division of the NSIC with a record of 3-2. Minnesota Duluth is still at the top, staying undefeated at 5-0 after a convincing win over Concordia St. Paul at home, 32-3. A combined 3 teams are 1-4, including Minnesota Crookston, Minot State, and Northern State. U of Mary is also looking to get their first win of the season. The Huskies are returning home after being on the road the last 2 games. They will be taking on Wayne State, who is at the bottom of the NSIC South with an overall record of 1-4. It will look to be a good matchup on Saturday as St. Cloud State looks to get their first win. Now we're going to welcome Hans into the studio to talk some football. Hey Hans, so first, probably the biggest talking point of the game was what is wrong with Dwayne Lawhorn?
Well, we don't really know as of right now, and you know how it goes, Joey, with a lot of these teams and kind of injuries and stuff, but we do know he obviously did not play at all against Mankato on Saturday. And again, I think that was a big loss for a Huskies team going up against the top team in the country, that is Minnesota State Mankato. And week in and week out, this NSIC football conference is loaded with a lot of talent. And this is a Huskies group, Joey, that is kind of just finding themselves in the middle of the pack in recent seasons. And that's where they are right now in the standings. So they've got a big game at home this coming weekend against a Wayne State team that, on paper, they should be able to knock off Wayne State at Husky Stadium on Saturday, but if they don't do that, it's going to put them into a tough spot with a couple of big games coming up, including against Upper Iowa on homecoming, and again, another ranked team at the end of the year in Bemidji State. So Lawhorn's injury status is still, we can call it questionable for right now. We're hoping to find out more, of course, leading up to Saturday's game against Wayne State, but Justin Check had to come in. He's their backup quarterback. He's a sophomore. He had to come in on Saturday in Mankato and did what he could against, obviously, Mankato's defense, which they're top in the country. I mean, all around that Mavericks team is loaded. So it's going to be very interesting to see kind of what shakes out for that offense headed into Saturday.
Yeah, and it looks like the defense is still a question. When I was looking, they only had about 3 tackles for loss. So I think the defensive line is really need to get in the backfield, blow it up, get some tackles, make the other team, the opponent, get into the 3rd and long situation so you can get off the field and get the ball to the offense.
And I've seen it in a few games that stand out to mind in this year from that Huskies defense, Joey, is that front line is led by Jake Schley, who's kind of battled some injuries, but he's back healthy now. Ferris Ingram is also on that front line, who is just a beast, and he's able to punch his way through offensive lines and make plays in the backfield. And that's going to be important for the Huskies when you're at home and you're able to win that battle at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be critical for, like you said, that defensive line to really get to really just pound their way through Wayne State's offensive line, get into the backfield, disrupt their offensive scheme. If they can do that, Then what that allows your linebackers and your wideouts to be able to do is it gives them more confidence to be on the ball when Wayne State's going to try and attack them through the air. Carvel Graham has been exceptional for the Huskies in the backfield, as well as Ben Gutshaw, who led the Huskies with 7 tackles on Saturday. That group in the backfield is in the backfield of defense. They're an experienced group. And when they all come together, and you look at a talent like Jamar Emanuel, who plays corner out wide for the Huskies, when that group comes together, they can be a big force and really keep the Huskies in a game if their offense is slow.
Coming up after the break, we'll let you know how the USCHO polls are looking for women's hockey.
And find out what special guests we have coming in the studio. Husky Mag will be right back.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Well, Janselyn, it's October. The weather is getting chilly outside. I don't know about you, but hockey season is my favorite. Are you really excited about the St. Cloud State Huskies men's team this year?
I really am excited because I think it's a good year to be a Husky fan. Of course, for hockey, seeing how there's a new freshman team going in for this hockey season. Last year we had a good season. I'm excited, so I can't wait to see what's in the near future for us.
Well, the men's hockey team comes into the season as the number 6th ranked team in the nation. This upcoming Sunday is their first game against Mount Royal University at Howard Brooks National Center at 5 o'clock. In recent hockey news, 2 of our very own Huskies have been selected to join the All-Star NCHC preseason hockey team. Seniors Robbie Jackson and Jimmy Schultz were the chosen ones from the team, and that is no surprise due to their outstanding records. Congratulations, you two. We can't wait to see what you do.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Robbie. As you start your senior season, what does it mean for you to be named preseason all-conference team in the NCHC?
I mean, obviously it feels good, but you try not to put too much stock and stuff like that. Like, we haven't even played a game yet, like we haven't worn our jerseys at all or anything. So, honestly, I kind of filter it out. Like my buddies will text me saying, hey, congrats. Like my parents like, oh, I saw this. And like, honestly, like, thank you, but it really means nothing. Like, you try to use it as motivation to prove whoever, believes in you, prove them right. That's really how I'm taking it. I'm not really gonna get caught up in the fact that I'm still gonna work out just as hard. Like, I'm still gonna try to score in practice just as much. Like, I'm not just gonna sit back and be like, oh, I was preseason all NCHC, So that's kind of my take on it.
Oh, okay, I see. You take the ice for the first time this season on Sunday. What can the fans see in the first game of the 2018-2019 season?
They're gonna see a lot of fun. That's something that this team we kind of built as a culture last year, and I think we've just continued it this year. We work hard, but we have fun playing hockey, and I think the fans and other coaches and scouts can even see it, man. Just the way we play is so quick and fast, and let's get the puck, let's go play offense, and that's what Husky hockey is right now. And the other freshmen, or the new freshmen, as well as the new coaching staff, has really helped just build us up. And we've been having fun every day in practice. Obviously competing against your own teammates gets kind of old. So I think we're excited to finally go against someone that we don't have to sit next to in the locker room after practice and still be mad at them. So it'll be fun. It's game week, and I mean, personally, I'm excited. Even though it's preseason, it doesn't count. Like, I can't wait to play a game.
You sound hungry. This season, the Huskies have 6 skaters in the freshman class. What can you say about these new players? Is there any freshman that sticks out to you?
Man, they're all good, to be honest. My roommate Pat Newell and I, we've been talking about it a little bit, because that's always when the freshmen come in. That's one of the big questions. Who do you think's the best freshman? And they can all play. It's fun, man. We got some big, scary defensemen that I don't like playing against in practice, and we got some forwards that are hard to catch and know what to do with the puck. So I'm excited, man. I expect big things from them this year, and honestly, I can't single one out that has been the best. They've all stood out. They look like, juniors and sophomores already. They don't look like freshmen.
You sound very confident. The Huskies lost some leadership roles in the off-season, like Jude Peterson. How will this year's senior class and captains fill that role?
I think it helps that Jimmy is just such a natural leader. He's had the C on his chest since sophomore year, so he kind of knows what he's doing. He's been a captain since he was, 10 years old. And John Lazat's another one. He had an A last year, so I think, and obviously Jacob Benson this year voted as an assistant captain, and the guys trust him, and he's been doing a great job so far. So I think that having such a big senior class also helps. It kind of alleviates the pressure. Last year there was 3 seniors, I think, and 2 of them had letters on their chests, and so they were I think maybe they might have felt some pressure as seniors that they didn't really have any other outside help. And this year we have 8, 9 seniors, I think it is, something like that, and 3 of them have letters, and that doesn't mean that the rest of us aren't leaders. We can still lead in other ways, but we'll go first in drills and practice, and we'll lead by example. We don't need to be giving speeches or anything in the locker room like Jimmy or Benson maybe, but we can still kind of show the freshmen and even sophomores who still need some guidance in certain areas, just kind of show them, I guess, how Huskies play hockey and how to carry yourself on and off the ice.
I see. You sound like a leader to me. I want you to lead me. And finally, it's obvious that you have captivated the fans with your signature celly. What can we expect from number 23? Like a new signature dance move, or what are we thinking?
I don't know, man. I think this has gotten kind of out of hand. I didn't know it'd be such a big thing when I did it last year. It's funny. I started it in the summer, just as a joke, and I said, hey, what if I did that during a game? And Newsy and Clark Cuss dude, you should do that. I'm like, all right, I guess I will. And I scored in the preseason game and kind of just blanked, and I was like, all right, I guess we're doing it. And I don't know, it stuck with it. Yeah, people enjoy it. I don't know, man. It's funny because people have actually asked me about it this year, and I don't know. I need to focus on scoring goals first before I can worry about the celebration. So I don't know. I guess I'll just resort back to it if I can't think of anything else, but I don't know. I just want to keep scoring goals. Yeah, I guess so. Come out to the game, find out.
Stay tuned. All right. Well, if you go viral, don't forget about us small people, okay? Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Jen.
No problem. And there's Robbie.
Well, now we will switch over to the other side for women's hockey, as they had their first series of the year against UConn. They did lose their season opener 3-2 in overtime. The Huskies took the lead 10 minutes in when Megan Rowe scored off an assist from Suvi Alokinen. They would take that 1-0 lead into the second period, but UConn would finally get an equalizer off the stick of Catherine Crawley from Natalie Snodgrass late in the second. As the third and final period started, the Huskies immediately got a goal from Kayla Friesen to take a 2-1 lead, but then St. Cloud State had trouble staying out of the box in the third, which led to UConn's power play goal and Catherine Crawley's second of the game, forcing it to overtime. But then Cameron Wong would score the game winner for the UConn as they took game 1 of the series. And then that Saturday, it was a different day, but same result. The Huskies lost 3-2. Julia Tilke tallied 2 assists in this game, one to Hallie Theodosopoulos and a power play goal by Hannah Portakis. But it wasn't enough as UConn's 2 power play goals and another game winner by Cameron Wong led them past St. Cloud State. It just seemed that the problem was for the women's team was just staying out of the box. They got to make an emphasis on playing more disciplined hockey. You got to stay away from getting sticks in the legs, keep them from falling over. And I think if they stay out of the box, they will definitely do themselves a favor and stay in these games, especially when UConn's getting like 3 power plays in the third period, allowing them to capitalize on that and tie the game and force the game to overtime to lose some close ones. I'm sure that'll be a big emphasis for Coach Eric Rudd this week at practice.
I understand that. And not only saying just that, but seeing how close they were and getting overtime, that just shows that we have a big season up for store. So I'm excited. I know you're excited, Joey. So the USCHO rankings are in with a rough start in women's hockey for St. Cloud State. The Huskies are still ranked number 22 in the USCHO rankings. Other rankings in the top 6, we got Boston College number 6, number 5, Ohio State. We got number 4, Minnesota Duluth, number 3, Minnesota, number 2, Wisconsin, and number 1, Clarkson. I still feel, though, we have a lot of time and a lot of effort to go to climb up to the rankings list. So those rankings didn't scare us.
They definitely have a big chance this upcoming series. They're going to be playing RIT. And so if they get a couple wins there, get back in the win column, feel good about themselves, and they can head into the season strong into conference play.
Hey, you're very confident, and so am I. With the devastating losses against the University of Connecticut, the Huskies intend to fuel their fire for their next home game. With home court advantage, the Huskies intend to get a win against RIT. The Huskies play at the Herb Brooks Hockey Center Friday, October 5th, and it's at 6:07 p.m. on Saturday, October 6th at 3:07 p.m.
Well, we're going to welcome Nick into the studio. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm good, Joey. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. We're going to talk some hockey, and the women's hockey team took a tough couple of losses to the UConn Huskies over the weekend. But how do you see them fare during the season?
It's tough. UConn, had the chance to come to St. Cloud last year to start their season, and this season we started out in Connecticut. Series split, one in Minnesota, one in Connecticut. But I would say for the Huskies that this is definitely a better start to their season this year than it was last year. Last year they ended up losing one and winning one against UConn, and that sounds a little weird. But this year, they've shown that they can put themselves in the 2 games, not just the one that they won last year. But like you touched on it earlier, it's all about staying out of that penalty box, because that penalty kill for St. Cloud is a killer. That allowed UConn to not only get back into the game, but also, come out with 2 wins, and defeating the Huskies on the road.
As we switch over to the men's hockey team, how do you think their season is going to play out? They are coming in a very high-ranked team, just like last year where they stayed for most of the time. It was ended by Air Force, especially in that first round, which is tough. But how do you think it's going to play out?
It was tough for the Huskies last year. Seeing them unfortunately losing the first round to a team like you mentioned in Air Force, it was kind of heartbreaking. And then you add on the fact that head coach Bob Motzko left the Huskies to go pursue a head coaching position at the University of Minnesota for the Gophers. But you haven't really lost anybody. You lost 2 seniors to graduation, one in Judd Peterson, the other in Blake Winicky, and you lost Will Borgen and Mikey Asemont to the NHL. You lost 4 skaters. You're bringing in 6 with the freshman class, not to mention some of the freshmen that didn't play much, or I should say sophomores now, that didn't play much in their last season. And you have a lot of big names on the team. You still have your second leading goal scorer in Robbie Jackson, on the ice. You still have, guys like Blake Lazat and Easton Brodzitsky who were, standout freshmen last year that can bring a lot to this Huskies team this year. And they're still number 6. They're still a top 10 team, and they can still compete with these other teams. Obviously, the only other team in the NCHC that's ranked above them is Duluth at number 1. But this Huskies team is good. There's no doubt about that. And it's going to be exciting not only for me and you to watch as broadcasters, but also for the fans of St. Cloud.
Definitely high expectations for the Huskies hockey team this year. And thank you, Nick, for joining me. And, I love talking hockey, and I'm sure you do as well. So it's great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up after the break, find out how the soccer team did this week.
And see where the men's and women's golf teams ended up on the green.
Cool.
First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Gotta get up and be somebody. We can break it down, yes we can make it. We can break it down, yes we can make it. Numbers, but I'm searching for a
So Joey, with the weather changing and it getting colder, you would think that would have an effect on soccer players and the soccer team. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure they're going to be putting on their big jackets. They'll have their gloves on to stay warm, but the women's soccer team got a victory last Friday, 2-1 in extra time against Wayne State. Wayne State had the lead after the first half, 1-0, but St. Cloud tied the game off the foot of Maria Witt for her third goal of the season. But then in the 95th minute, Nicole Fries secured the win for the Huskies. So it took extra time, but they still got it done either way. And then we head over to Sunday. On Sunday, the Huskies fell short 1-0 against Augustana. The lone goal came in the 40th minute off a header from Alexis Legg, but St. Cloud State now has an overall record of 3-4-3. So now we're going to head to the green. We had the Ryder Cup like a couple nights ago, so that was a big deal, but not talking about professional golf, we'll head into college golf, of course, to the Huskies. In the Augustana University Invite in South Dakota, the men's golf team was able to capture first place. So the Huskies were led both by Troy Reinanen and Regan Steen, who ended up tying in second place overall, was shooting a 145, which is 1 over par. Riley Duncanson finished 13th, and Quinn Massey was in 18th. And now the golf team will travel to Missouri from the Missouri Western State University Invite.
Wow, that sounds impressive. The women's golf team was also in action this weekend, competing at the Ramadan Mustang Invite. The Huskies finished in the middle of the pack in the team standings with a score of 651, earning them a 9th place finish. Marin Fellenstein was the top individual placer for the Huskies, finishing in a tie for 30th overall with 161 strokes. Morgan Helderfield was the next best Husky on that day, finishing 34th overall in the individual standings with a score of 162. The women's golf team will next be in action at the Southwest Minnesota State University Invite. This invite will take place on September 21st and go through the 23rd. The women's team looks to place within the top 3 for the second time this season.
Well, now it is swim season, so the St. Cloud State Huskies decided, swim and dive team decided to have a little inner squad, get the kinks out and get ready for, gear up for another long season. And they had one last Thursday and Friday. So as we we'll take a look into their first official meet will be on October 12th and 13th at Northern Michigan University. And then we'll head over to cross country, where the women's cross country team finished 13th place at the Roy Grauk Invitational, which was at the University of Minnesota. The Huskies got a total of 374 points, led by Christy Lofgren, who finished in 39th. When we come back, find out who our pick for the leader of the pack is this week.
Don't go anywhere.
Which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome to Husky Tonight.
Yesterday, I just polished off a whole pack of Capri Sun, and tonight, I'm whipping out the hard stuff. Danimals. How can you do that? I banged the thing!
Hockey ain't even a real sport.
I'm sorry, bud, but you're gonna have to make like Toronto and leave.
You wanna hear fat?
What's your name? I don't know.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
If you want to stay up to date on all things Husky sports, make sure you follow us on Twitter.
You can find us at UTVS_Husky Mag. Give us a follow so you don't miss any updates.
Now for our favorite part of the show, here is our leader of the pack. This week's pick is none other than number 17 from the women's volleyball team, Rachel Howell. Howell is a freshman this year, but it's hard to tell based on her performance so far. This player from Stillwater, Minnesota plays right side and is currently third in the team for her number of kills. Congratulations, Rachel, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your season. So, Joey, I mean, all this talk about, all of our sports and everything, it just makes me want to suit up and not retire anymore.
Well, it is a great time for Husky sports. I mean, hockey's starting up. Basketball is going to be in like the next month or two. Men's or the football team is like right in the middle of their season. So, I mean, you got a lot to choose from and to watch, and it's really exciting to see what's going on this year.
Trust me, I am excited. So, just gonna definitely tune in for these new sports. And like you said, time is flying by. So next thing you know, we're gonna be playing basketball.
For sure.
It was another great show on Husky Mag. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back and join us next Tuesday.
Some more.
What's he doing?
Please, sir, I want some more.
More? He has asked more!
Thank you.
Well, he did say please.
Yes, he did. And thank you.
Please and thank you. Pass it on.
Thank you.
Week in Review starts right now.
Welcome to Week in Review,
where we take a look back at the top stories of the week.
My name is Ben Henry. Alongside me is Emilio Ramos.
Well, the temperature is not that cold, even though it is snowing like crazy.
On WCHA conference rival, Bemidji State.
Thank you for joining us for UTVS News Week in Review. We'll see you back here Monday at 4:30.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then, another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey, Smokey, catch.